I have planning sheets from about 10 of you. One came in last night and one this morning that I've not had a chance to read yet, but everybody who gave me theirs by about Friday or by Sunday at about supper time, maybe 5 o'clock yesterday, I read those last night, or some of them I did on Saturday if you turned them in on Friday. So you should have feedback from me. Some of you, I've copied the feedback into an email and sent it to you because I had some suggestions. Some of you, I just left the feedback in the folder. So I want to make sure that you know how to see that feedback because you have to go back to D2L to see my comments. So I'll share my screen and show you that for a second here. If you go back into the folder where you put the document, or yeah, it's a document. And you open it. Sorry, that's the wrong thing. I wasn't supposed to click on that. I'm so used to opening it from the teacher view that now I'm in the student view. So evaluation status will show feedback here in this column. I'm going to make this bigger. So you'll see what you submitted. And then if there's any grade for it, and then the evaluation is if I've given you feedback. And if you want to see the feedback, there should be a little blue thing here that says feedback. And I told you before, any of these blue letters, if you see where I'm pointing and it underlines, that means it opens something. So if you want to see the feedback, you just click on it here. And you'll see a little note from me that explains if I had any suggestions for your planning sheet or if it was fine the way it was. The other thing I want to look at is we don't even have everybody's food topics yet. And those were all supposed to be done by today. I mean, by last Friday. I only have 5 people who chose their topic, but I have 10 people who've submitted planning worksheets. So that means a bunch of you submitted a worksheet without putting your topic in here. You still need to put your topic in here because I want to make sure that nobody else chooses your topic. So even if you've already finished your planning sheet and put it into the folder, please go back and put your topic on the discussion page so that when the other students who are still working on theirs decide on their topic, they can see if it's one that somebody else already chose. Okay. Are there any other questions about the presentation? So I have a suggestion from one of the other teachers. I think I told you, or maybe I told my class on Thursday. We had a meeting Thursday afternoon with all the ESOL teachers. And I asked them, what can I do what can I do to share a screen? Now I can't get it to look like theirs looked. Let me see. I think if I do it this way. Nope. Oh, I have to write to Mr. Smith. So when I was watching the meeting on Thursday, I was looking at a PowerPoint, and next to the PowerPoint was a square, just like you're seeing me right now with Mr. Smith talking in it because he was leading the meeting. And so I realized we could do our presentations like that. And he said, I think I can't do it when I'm recording. I think that's part of the problem. You can share your screen, which will show your PowerPoint if you have it on your computer and you open it. And then we should still be able to see the speaker at the same time. but I don't know how to do it. So speaker view is me, but if I go to gallery view, let me see what happens if I do gallery and share my screen. Let me try this. Can you see me or just the computer page? Can anybody see my face or do you just see the computer page?
We can see you.
Yeah, both.
You see both?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the problem because I can't see what you're seeing. So if you did it this way and you opened up a PowerPoint, oh boy, I don't have my PowerPoint down here. We could see you talking about your presentation while we were looking at your PowerPoint. So that's what we're going to do for the presentations for Wednesday. If you're not ready to present on Wednesday, which it feels a little bit tight now, maybe we should talk about postponing that till Monday. I'll see what you think in a minute.
Yes, it's better.
Then you should try and make sure you do a recording to submit. So let me open up the participants. If you remember how to do your participants page where you click on yes or no, I would like you to please vote yes if you want to move the presentations to Monday. So it would be a week from today instead of on Wednesday. Can anybody else find the box for yes or no? If you click on participants, it should show you the list of all the students. And then at the bottom, there's a little green circle for yes and a red circle for no. You should be able to vote. So you're answering the question, do you want to do the presentations on Monday? If you want a Monday, then you click yes. If you want to stay on Wednesday, you click no.
Oh, this. Why not? Oh, this.
Okay.
I have to talk a little bit about presentation. I'm wondering how I show my PowerPoint and at the same time how can I speak?
That's what I was talking about a minute ago.
Yeah.
I can give you permission to share your screen, which will show us your PowerPoint. And then I should be able to still spotlight your video so we can see your face and your PowerPoint together. The other option would be if you just want to make a recording of it. And then you'll have to upload the recording into the D2L assignment folder. So I think we ended up with 3 no's. So the 3 of you who said Wednesday, which is Boris, James, and That, and anybody else who might want to do Wednesday, we could still do Wednesday if you're ready, and then let the rest of the people go on Monday. That would be fine with me. We don't have to do them all in one day. I mean, technically there's 19 people in this class. Not everybody's showing up anymore. So I don't know if the people who aren't coming online are going to be willing to make a recording to put up for their presentation, or if we're not going to have 19 presentations. But if we have all 19 presentations, I don't want to do them all in one morning. That's really long. So right now we're up to 4 people who are saying Wednesday still. So if you want to do Wednesday, we'll let you do Wednesday. If you want to do Monday, we'll let you do Monday. How about that? So even if only 4 or 5 people present on Wednesday, then we'll only have about 12 left for Monday. That's a little bit more manageable because that'll take up most of our class time already. Just 12 people by the time we set up everybody's screen sharing and videos and all that stuff. It'll take us easily 5 minutes per person. So that's already a whole hour just for 12 people. So That'd be good. So those of you, I'm going to erase everybody's votes. Abdi and I already talked about his planning worksheet. He formatted it in a Mac computer, so I can't open it. He's going to try and fix that. But the rest of you, I know I read that already. I know I looked at James already. Who was the other person who said yes for Wednesday? I just deleted the marks.
Abdi and that.
And Boris.
Oh,
Boris.
Boris.
Oh, Boris.
And I've read yours too, Boris, right? Did you look
No.
in the, have you looked in the folder to see if I gave you feedback yet?
You didn't.
Oh, yours came, yeah, okay. I remember seeing yours, but I didn't read it yet. So I'll do that right away this morning after class. Okay?
Yeah.
So those of you who have feedback, you can go in, and if I made some comments about how to improve your plan, you do not need to submit the document again, but you should definitely update the document for your own copy, because that's what you should be using for presenting. So a few people, I had suggestions about things you needed to add to one of your questions. If it wasn't enough detail for what I was looking for, I put in there what kind of details you should add, okay? So it shouldn't be too hard to revise them. It's just kind of my suggestion to make sure you have a complete information about your food. So go back and read those, and then we're gonna start working on the PowerPoints. And I'm gonna try and finish everything we need to do before 11:30 today. So in about the next 25 minutes, we're gonna look at what we need to do in the book. And then anybody who feels confident to build their own slides, either on Google or PowerPoint, you'll be welcome to leave class. But anybody who wants to stay and get some either review, because some of you did this in the fall, either reviewing or learning how to make slides, then you can stay on from about 10:25 to 10:45. We'll talk about that. Sorry, 11:25 to 11:45 or so. We'll talk about that. Okay. So we're only going to be doing about an hour and a half of class. Normally, if we were in a regular semester, we would have gone to the computer lab last Wednesday, and I would have showed everybody how to do the PowerPoints, and you would have started building them during class time. And since we didn't have our computer lab time, and you don't have time in the lab to build your PowerPoints, I'm letting you have a little bit less class time and a little bit more free time to work on those independently. I also put up in the announcement that Peter knows how to do the PowerPoints and can help you too. He's working from home, so he's available by email or phone or Zoom. And so if you're having trouble and I'm busy with class, or I have a meeting this afternoon actually, so I won't be available after lunch today. So if you needed to get in touch with him, you could email him and he can send you a Zoom link. So just like I have this room for classes, Peter has a room assigned where he can talk with students one-on-one, and he can share his screen and show you whatever you need to do for PowerPoint that way too. But I'm going to give everybody kind of a overview or a quick summary of how you make it, and then how you can add pictures and words and those kinds of things. So that should be all ready. So if you were in my fall class and you feel confident about making a PowerPoint already, you won't have to listen to that. Also, if you're ready for Wednesday, I think, let me go back to my voting a second. So those of you who said yes, you want to do Wednesday, so technically you voted no, which means not Monday, you want Wednesday. Are any of you planning to do your presentation on a recording? where you record it on your own and don't do it live. Anyone planning to do a recording?
No.
Johanna, you want to record yours?
Yes, I will try.
Are you going to try and do it by Wednesday, or are you going to do it for next Monday?
Monday.
Monday?
Monday.
Okay. Celia, you're doing yours for Monday?
Monday too.
And Joe, are you doing yours for Monday or Wednesday?
Monday. Monday?
Yeah, I'm asking Joe now.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. Joe, are you going to do yours by Monday?
Yes.
Okay. So everybody who is doing a video right now, it looks like you're doing next Monday. So on Wednesday, we'll talk about the videos. I just wanted to make sure if anybody presenting Wednesday wanted to do a video, we would have to talk about it before that. But I was planning only on talking about the PowerPoints today, and we can talk about the video stuff on Wednesday. Niru, I got your question. I can send you an answer in the chat box. Are you asking about Christine to help with registration, or are you talking about Christina, who was our tutor for reading class?
No, Christine, advisor.
Okay.
And okay, I try to use a PowerPoint, but I don't get it for presentation.
What do you mean you didn't get it? Does that mean you didn't understand it, or does that mean you don't have PowerPoint?
I don't understand.
Okay, we're going to do that at the end of class. So you can just stay on at the end and we'll go through that. Okay, so most of you were focusing this weekend on your planning worksheets. That was the focus of our assignments. And as I said before, I need more of you to put your topic in the discussion page, and I need a lot more of you to put your worksheet in the assignment folder. I know it was a very busy weekend for me. I was planning to return all your presentation 1 evaluations today, and I still am planning to do it today, but I wanted to have it done before class. It's going to have to happen after class because obviously I want you to see the feedback from your first presentation before you give your second presentation. But I ended up with a much busier weekend than I thought I would have. So I'm still working on them, and I need to put them in the grade book before I send them back. But what I will be doing is scanning the evaluation page. I need to get to Zoom where I can see myself. I'm looking at something else right now. The evaluation page looks like this, and it'll have your score and points on it. And so what I need you to do is watch your email. I have my printer at home, even though it's just a small printer. It's not like the big ones we have at school. I can scan things on there. So it does like copying or scanning. So when I finish filling in everybody's evaluation, I'll put it in my printer and make a scan of it, which will make a PDF file, and then I'll email it to you. So if you're not used to checking your Century email all the time, please check it so that you can watch for it by the end of today or tomorrow, especially if you want to present on Wednesday. You want to see my feedback for how it was doing. It is going to feel different presenting this time. It's kind of like doing the test for the first time online. We haven't had a test yet, but my reading class took a test and a bunch of you are in there. There's kind of, we call it a learning curve, meaning there's a bit of time at the beginning where you're working extra hard to learn how to do the online test. It'll take a little bit of extra work to learn how to do the online presentations or video record your presentation, but I'll take that into account. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of things you're going to need to think about. The main thing you're going to want to do, and this is something that I always tell my students, but it's especially important right now, is practice with your PowerPoint. A lot of times I have students who give their presentation and about halfway through they realize they haven't switched slides yet. And maybe they're already talking about what's on the third or fourth slide and they missed the second slide. So that's something that it's really important to just make sure you're practicing with that before you have to present. And I'm going to confirm all the technology stuff that I need to know in order to see your face and your PowerPoint at the same time. In order to do that, you'll have to have the PowerPoint on your computer. So we'll make sure that you either have it open on your computer or you're already logged into your Google if you're using Google Slides. That will help things go a little bit quicker when we're getting ready for people to present. Any other questions about that?
Wednesday we need to present the life.
I'm sorry. I'm not sure you were asking me that.
Okay. Oh, on a Wednesday we need to talk about the presentation. So this presentation is we recording or the live?
That's your choice.
Oh, okay.
You can do it live for the class, or if you want to make a recording. So if you're making a recording, you'll have to figure out either using pictures for your slides or sitting next to your laptop. So if I was going to record myself on my phone, so if I used my phone to do the recording, I could have my laptop next to me right here, right?
Okay.
So you could see my slides and my face together in the same picture. You could record it like that. And you might have to set up your camera somewhere where you can see yourself. You might have to ask someone else in your home to record you while you're speaking. And I'll put up a new folder on D2L for the recordings. And if you make a recording, just put it in there. And then we'll still watch it together during class. So everybody can still hear and see your presentation, but you won't have to be doing it live then.
Okay. Thank you.
Is that clear?
Yes.
I feel like that was a very long answer, so I might have made it a little more confusing, but everybody's going to be able to choose. If you want to make a recording, you submit a recording. If I don't get a recording from you, then I assume you're going to do it live on the Zoom camera.
Okay.
Great. And I'm going to be recording from Zoom, so you'll still have a video of it when we're done to watch. This is going to be our final presentation. Originally, we were supposed to do 4. We were supposed to do this one this week or last week. I think originally this third one was scheduled for last week. And then we were going to have one more at the end. But when we lost those 2 weeks of school, they told us we need to revise our calendars so we can still fit everything in. And so in order to make sure we cover all the skills in the textbook, I decided to take out one presentation. Because the way the class is set up, we would have done a day of research for the presentation and 2 days presenting. So by changing the plan, I can pretty much go back to the original schedule and not leave anything out in the textbook. We're just leaving out those 3 days because we missed 4 days. So we're at 3 days. I'm fiddling around here because I'm trying to get my phone set up to show the book. So that's why I'm not looking at the screen right now. So yeah, by leaving out that one presentation, we're pretty much fitting in all the stuff we need to do from the book. So you were supposed to read over the weekend this little paragraph or this little article. I don't know if people had a chance to do that. We're actually still missing 4 students. So I don't know if we had a chance for everybody to read that, but right now I think I'm going to move ahead to the next part. And if you did not get this done, please do it. It's important background information that'll help you when we actually listen to the lecture, which is going to happen over this weekend. You'll be doing the lecture. What I'll probably do is assign the lecture today for next Monday, because that way if you're presenting on Wednesday, you can focus on your presentation and then do the lecture over the weekend. And if you're planning to present next Monday, you could do the lecture now and then focus on the presentation over the weekend. Does that make sense? You'll have all week to do both things, but it's up to you which one you're going to focus on first, depending on when you're presenting. So it's really important to have some of this background information. You'll notice it also shows all of our vocabulary words here in bold print. So that also is a way for you to get a chance to see those words in context and how they're used in writing and speaking. So this is page 81. It was part of your weekend homework, even though I asked you to focus primarily on the planning worksheet. And since I got less than half the planning worksheets, I'm assuming not everybody got this done either. So we're not going to go through that just yet. I want to focus first on the vocabulary. So over on page 82, if you want to open up your books. So we talked about the parts of speech. This is a little small, isn't it? There, that's better. We talked about the parts of speech already, but we did not go through the definitions. So number 1 is letter C. I talked about, oh gosh, I just bumped my camera. There. I talked about how this word media is the plural of the word medium, and medium just means different methods or materials. And so they're talking about news media. So TV, radio, newspapers, and the internet are different types of media that we use for news. It's different methods, different ways of communicating news. And I talked about in art, we talk about media in art, where you're creating paintings or sculptures or glass or metal. Those are different media that they, or photography. Those are different media they use for art pieces too. So the media, the word media is not only used about the news, it's being used about the news in this chapter. Number 2 is D. A way of entering or reaching something is access. So you access your garage by using your garage door opener. If you have one, you access your house by using your key. That means that's how you get in. That's how you get to it. You access the books and materials in the library or in Peter's books by using your student ID card. So those are all examples of access. There are things at school you can only access if you're a student. So for example, you cannot use the fitness center at Century unless you have a student ID. That's only for students. So that's a student ID is needed to access that. Number 3, in-depth, is letter E, with lots of details. So if you're talking about doing in-depth report. That means you're reporting a lot of the details and not just the general information. If you're doing in-depth research about something, that means you're analyzing and researching all the details about that topic, not just in a general way, but in a very detailed way. All of you are muted right now, it looks like, except Joe, which is fine, but if you have a question, please unmute yourself and speak up. So at the end, I'll give everybody a chance to ask questions too, but if I say something you're not clear on, please stop me. Number 4, reliable is A. You can trust them. And that means a couple different meanings of trust. It can mean you trust them that they're saying the truth. So a reliable source of news means you can trust it to be true news, truthful reporting. And it also means you can rely on them to be dependable, meaning they're always there to report the news for you. And then is it a reliable news? Number 5, accurate. You might know that word already. That's H. I think of accurate as meaning correct. So exact means kind of like correct. It means exactly the right answer or the right information, and that they're being careful to make sure all their information is accurate and truthful and correct. Number 6, feature is G, an important or noticeable part of something. So for example, one of the most noticeable features about me is that I wear glasses, right? So if someone asked you at school, who's Miss Martha, you might say, well, she has brown hair and glasses. That would be features. That means something that you use to notice or recognize someone. In news reporting, there's certain features, right? Meaning certain characteristics that are part of the news. Number 7, get informed is B. If you're get informed, it basically means the same as get information. So to find out information about something is getting informed. And then letter 8, number 8, we talked about the word print a little bit on Wednesday. It's not the verb print. So if you go into our computer lab and print your essay, you print your essay, that's a verb. That means the action of sending it to the printer. That's not what this means. This is a noun and it's letter F. So print media, which is how they use this expression in the news, are the media for the news that are in print, meaning writing. So books, newspapers, and magazines are print media. The opposite of print media would be electronic. Okay, so anything you actually print on paper is print, and anything that appears electronically is not print. Even though there are words on the screen on the computer, that is not considered print because it's not printed. If you think of like a printing press or a printer that makes a copy of something on paper, that's what we mean by print here. It has to be printed on paper. And then letter E, the answer is B. So keep up with the news or the events. It means you continue learning about those things. So now I'm going to open it up. Does anybody have any questions about these words?
No.
Great. So just so you're aware, this Wednesday was going to be presentations. Some of you will do it on Monday. And then next Wednesday in 9 days, we're supposed to have this test, but I just realized that my reading class is supposed to have their test next Wednesday. So I have to figure out what I'm doing about that. But we will have a test coming up on units 5, on chapters 5 and 7 together. So the chapter 5 vocabulary, which is on page 56, and this vocabulary on page 82 are the words that are going to be on the test. And now that we've gone through them all, I'm gonna put up the online practice activities with the website for these words. So you can start practicing those. Let me look at my schedule here 1 second.
So the test will be next Wednesday, right?
I think I'm gonna move it. I think I'm gonna move it to the 27th. So, because Wednesday we'll spend some of the time on presentations, and a lot of Monday will be presentations. And we won't be done with chapter 7 that fast. So I think we will finish chapter 7. I think we'll finish chapter 7 next Wednesday and have the test Monday, the 27th. So 2 weeks from today.
Okay.
We'll have to go a little bit faster through our last unit, which is fine. I think that's possible. When I revised the schedule, so, you know, I had my schedule and then we lost 2 weeks of class after the break. I had to revise my schedule and move everything around so we could fit it in these last 6 weeks. And when I did that, I planned 2 weeks for these 2 chapters and 2 weeks for the last 2 chapters. But I didn't think about the fact that we're doing the presentations during this chapter and it's going to take up about 1.5 classes. So instead of making the 2 units the same amount of time, I should have made this one longer, and I didn't do it that way. So I'll put that schedule up on D2L. So, and that way, if you're in my reading class, we'll have our reading test Wednesday on the 22nd, and then we won't have this test until Monday, the 27th. Okay. And then our last unit test is going to be during the week of final exams. And it will not be, it'll just be a regular unit test. It's not going to be a final exam over the whole book. So hopefully that'll be a little bit more manageable for everybody. I don't know if you have like final essays coming up or final exams in your grammar classes. But I'm for listening and speaking, because technically your final presentation is like your final. We just do a unit test out of the textbook. So that's that information. And did everybody have a chance to think about if you have any questions about this vocabulary? Is that all clear?
Yes.
Great. I got one yes, maybe everybody else fell asleep. Is everybody else as sad about the snow as I am? I didn't want to have any more snow.
Yep.
I was really planning on, we've had such beautiful weather that when it's been staying at home,
Yeah.
the stay-at-home order, which came last Wednesday afternoon after our class, that the governor at a press conference and extended it to May 4th. So that's 3 weeks from today, 3 weeks longer. The good news is we don't have to do our taxes for Wednesday. Wednesday's normally tax day, but they extended that, which I'm glad because I won't have ours done, that's for sure. But anyway, we've had such nice weather to be able to go outside for exercise or walks that now I feel like I can't go out because it's so cold. So I really miss that. We already talked about this page about language that signals important information. We looked at this example. we're going to look at this part next. So this is talking about research and statistics about how people get their news, specifically on the internet. And then they're gonna have some examples of important information that they're talking about in the lecture. And so what they're gonna do is give you a signal, which you wanna write the lecture language first. And then what is the important information that they're pointing to with their signal. So it's always kind of confusing, and I am a little bit unhappy with these exercises, even though I know it's important to find the signal words and learn them. When you're actually taking notes during a lecture, you don't want to write down the signal words. This is just an exercise to practice listening for the signal words. But when you're listening to a real lecture, when the instructor says a signal that something important is coming, you want to write down the important information, not the lecture language. So normally in your notes, you don't write that. But for this particular exercise, they want you to write it just so they know you heard it. They actually have you listening to it twice, one time just to hear the lecture language, and then the second time to actually write down what is that important information. So I'm going to try and listen to this with you. We'll see how it goes. I have to put it up on my own computer, which I don't know how that'll work exactly, but first I have to find the file here quick. I didn't open it up in advance. So this is on page 84. If you don't have your books, you should have them out by now. And this is chapter 6. Oh, this one is a video. It's not a, oh shoot. Sorry, I tried to open it when I had Word open, so it says it can't open it as, because it thinks it's a Word document. So I need to go through this another way here. Because obviously it's not a Word document, it's a video. Yeah, usually these exercises are audio recordings, but this particular one is a video. So I will get it open here. And then I'll share my screen and play it for you. I don't want to sign this for homework because you're working on your presentations for homework. So I want to watch this together. So we're going to do K first. Focus on letter K and match the first part of the sentences with the second part of the sentences. So you're really just listening for content right now and the information that she's going to be sharing with you. Make sure your computer is not muted, because if you have her muted, you won't be able to hear this. Okay, where'd she go here? Can everybody see her?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna, you might be able to hear it. You should be able to hear it through my microphone. So make sure your phone or laptop that you're using, your speakers are turned. You should, that's a stupid thing to say because obviously if you can hear me, your speakers are on. So never mind. Just listen to her. Oh, and I also want to say she has a little bit of an accent, so you might have to listen real carefully. But we're just listening for letter K right now. Don't worry about the signal words yet. Oh no, come on. She's not.
We've been looking at news sources, meaning where people are. We've been looking at news sources, meaning where people are getting their news. And we've also explored this in both the print media and online news.
Okay, it's buffering here. Hang on a second. I have heard people say that it's hard to get something to play on your Zoom if you have too many other things open on your computer. So I'm going to double check and make sure. Make sure that I close the other stuff that we don't need right now. Okay, I'll try this again here.
We've been looking at news sources, meaning where people are getting their news. And we've also explored this in both the print media and online news. Today, we're going to focus just on internet news. My focus today is on the research on the kinds of news that internet users are getting from online news sources. I'm going to be
I know the picture is really weird, but just keep listening to what she's saying.
reporting on a few recent studies on internet use. I want to point out that these are the most recent, so they are the most accurate findings that we have. Pretty accurate, I think. Then I'm going to report on a very large study done by the University of Southern California. Plus, these are important findings. First of all, they found out that internet users are going online an average of 12 and a half hours a week. I'll say that again. They're going online 12 and a half hours a week. That's up 121% in the last 5 years. And this is important. One thing they found was that getting the news was the third most popular activity among all the internet users they surveyed. So that means out of the 9 things people can do on the internet, like shop, do business, use email, do research, get driving instructions, do homework and other activities, getting the news was number 3. We have to ask at this point, how have people changed in their interaction with the news? First of all, what I want you to notice is the increase in the number of people who are using the internet to get the latest information. According to another important survey, this was done by the Pew Research Center, 60% of Americans get their news online. But listen to this, 28% of internet users get customized news, focused on topics that they are interested in. 33% of cell phone users get their news via their cell phone. And 37% of internet users contribute to the news by commenting on news stories, posting news to social networking sites, or posting opinion pieces to the web. So the bottom line is that the internet is going to remain a main source for current news stories. We'll pick this up next week and we'll talk more about other popular kinds of online news. Got to go. See you next time.
Okay, so I'm going to use our yes or no buttons again. If you can open up your participants window. And this is the question you're supposed to answer, yes or no. Could you understand her? I mentioned already she has a British accent. I didn't say British before, I just said she has an accent. So the question is, could you understand her, yes or no? So we have a few no's. I try to not have speakers with accents for our lectures that I choose for class. Sometimes you will get classes that have international teachers that have accents. I know one of our former teachers in ESOL who's retired now, her grandson is coming to Century as a student. And he told her that he has one teacher that he can't understand because the accent is so strong. And he's a native US speaker. So that's not a thing that just you struggle with. That's something that everybody, you know, if you get a speaker, I know there's like some math and science teachers and some English teachers from other countries. And if they have really what we call a heavy accent or a strong accent, it makes them harder to understand, which is unfortunate. However, for this situation, the good thing is it's a recording, so you can watch it as many times as you want to. So I promised those of you who wanted some help with PowerPoints that I would talk about that at the end, which is now. I'm actually about 10 minutes later than I wanted to start that. So if you do not have any questions about PowerPoint, you may leave the meeting. Just make sure you know that your homework for today, you need to make sure you get your food topic on the discussion page as soon as possible, and then get your planning sheet into the assignment folder as soon as possible. And those of you who have it in there already, either you already have my feedback or it will be there by about 1:30 or 2 this afternoon. You can go back and look.
Oh, we
You
have
do not have to submit the paper again. Just use the feedback to make the improvements for what you want to say for the presentation. Yura, did you have a question?
Do we have to put the presentation in the discussion too?
Just your topic. I
Just the
asked
topic.
everybody to put the name of their food in the discussion topics so that nobody chooses the same food that you have. Because I don't think
Okay.
it'll be very interesting to listen to 2 presentations on the same food. It'll be all repeating.
Just the food name, just
Yeah.
the topic.
Yep, just the name of your food so everybody knows. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the planning sheets go in a folder. And then if you're gonna do a recording, I'll put up a different folder for the recordings to upload those. You should be able to, if you record it on your phone, for example, you should be able to log into D2L on your phone and just upload it right from your phone onto D2L. It could take some data. If you're paying for data on your phone, you might wanna make sure you can do it if you get a Wi-Fi signal somewhere. It would be easier to do it if you actually have a Wi-Fi signal instead of using your mobile data. Any other questions?
Are you telling about the planning sheet?
No, I'm talking about if you record your presentation and you want to put your recording in the folder. If you're doing it live, you don't have to worry about recording, but if you are going to record it, there'll be a folder for those
I
recordings.
don't think I can record it. I'm pretty confused about that.
You don't have to record it if you don't want to. You can do it on the Zoom camera.
Okay.
The tricky part, those of you who want to do it on Zoom live, the tricky part is you need to make sure that you don't have other loud noises or interruptions at your house, even if it's just for 2 or 3 minutes. You know, make sure everybody goes away from where you're talking to us on the camera, so there aren't a lot of distracting noises at your house.
Okay. Sounds good.
So anybody who wants to stay on for PowerPoint can stay here. I'll start in about a minute. Those of you who don't need any help with PowerPoint, you can go ahead and jump off. And actually it's about an hour until your writing classes start. So get some lunch, have a break. If you're staying on to do PowerPoint with me, we'll do this in about 15 minutes. We had a picture of a big bowl with the goulash in it so we could see what it looked like. Then a lot of students did pictures with the ingredients. So again, for her goulash example, you'd have a picture of the beef, which is the stew meat she talked about as beef. The potatoes, the carrots, the celery, the tomatoes, the sauce is made out of tomato. And she said some people put in noodles. And then another slide for the nutrition. So how much protein, how much vitamins, how much minerals. And if you want to make a slide for your conclusion, you can. That probably isn't required, but for sure 3, maybe 4 or 5 if you want.
Okay.
So I assume everyone else here wants to go through the PowerPoint. I do not have it. I don't have a PowerPoint on my save. Oh, I'm on my, hang on, I'm on my remote here. So if you look on my desktop, I don't have my PowerPoint here, but you can find it in the start menu. So if you click on the start menu, mine is right here with all the Microsoft stuff. Otherwise, you might have to go down through your list of places. And it's under Microsoft. Where is it? Oh, why isn't it here? Maybe it doesn't show up here when it's on my shortcuts. Maybe it doesn't show up on my files because I don't see it here now. So it's either going to show up under Microsoft Office. Here it is. So these are all the things when you download Microsoft Office from the Century website. These are all the things that go with it. And here's PowerPoint. And when you open PowerPoint, it's like when you open a Word document, it's automatically, sorry, I was just looking to make sure I'm actually still recording. It automatically opens up an empty PowerPoint. Just like if you open up Word, it automatically gives you a blank document. So you can see it's opening up here. And you want to just click on a blank presentation. And so this part up here might look familiar. Okay, I can type, I really can. I still did it wrong. Presentation, there we go. You might recognize this part up here. All this looks just like when you do a document. So you can change the kind of print you're using. You can change the size of the print you're using. You can bold it, you can italics. You can change the color. So if I highlight this row, I can change the color of the letters, make it blue or green or red. You would put the name of your food here, probably. This would be the title slide. And so usually on the title slide, you put the name of your food, and then down here you would put something like presentation 3, ESOL 43, something like that. So just like the assignment and the date. Now you'll notice over here on the left, it shows your slides, and there's only one. And they only give you one title slide because after that, they let you choose what kind of slide you want. So you click here on new slide. And usually what I recommend is to choose this second type of slide, which has a spot, and you just click on it and it gives you a new one. So now I have slide number 2, And you'll notice this has a orange line around it because that's the one I'm viewing right here. If I want to view slide 1, I click on that and it'll go back and forth. So whichever one has this orange line is the one you're looking at on your screen. And this kind of a slide always lets you put in a title or a heading, and then you can add pictures. Okay. So, and you can put this in the middle if you want to. And here you can add a table, a picture, or text. You'll notice right here is a little bullet. So for example, if you were going to do the goulash that we watched the presentation of, if you just start typing, it will make the bullets for you automatically. So there's tomato in the sauce, there's carrots, there's potatoes. She mentioned paprika, which I told you is a seasoning that has good vitamins in it. I think it has celery in it. And, oops. Oh my goodness. Keep making typing mistakes. So this would be the ingredients. And then if you want to add a picture here, you could go out to the internet. And under Google, you could put goulash. And you can put in images here, or when you open goulash, you can just click on images. So if you click on images, then it switches it over to images. This is the kind of goulash she's talking about, Hungarian goulash, which is from Eastern Europe. This is the kind of goulash I ate when I grew up, which was mostly noodles. It was kind of cheesy hamburger, tomato, casserole. So if you click on this picture and see where I'm pointing to the picture over here, you can use your right clicker and it will give you an option to copy the image. Now, some images might be locked for copyright, but for this purpose, you can use the pictures from the internet for education. We're not using it to sell anything or do any kind of business. And so here you can right click again, and here is paste picture. So you'll notice that the picture is covering up part of my words. So if I point to it and get these little black arrows, I can slide it around. So I can move it up and down or back and forth wherever I want it to be. And then when I let go of my mouse, that's where it is. If you get these little dots in the corners, you can make the picture a little bit bigger that way if you want. So here's my ingredients and here's my picture. Now the next slide, I want to talk about nutrition, right? So I'm going to pick a new slide of the same. The other option you could do is this one that shows two content. So you could put, like I could have put the picture of, I could have put the picture of the goulash here and type the ingredients on this side here. So you can do it with split. You can do it with split like this, or you can do it like this one where I just pasted the picture on there and moved it around. And then if you need one for ingredients, I mean for nutrition, you can put this back in the middle of your title page. And then here you're going to say protein. You probably should know how much protein or look it up. And that comes from the beef. She mentioned vitamin A specifically, and that's from the paprika. The tomatoes have vitamin C. I'm just doing this off the top of my head because I know about food. So you'd have to look up more of the details. The gravy part of the goulash has the meat from the juice from the beef, but also tomato juice or tomatoes in it. So that's vitamin C. There's carbohydrates in the potatoes. So you can list it like this. Again, if you want to have an interesting slide, you could go back and find a different picture. I can close this one. Here's another different kind of picture. If you like that, or you can look for one that's interesting. Maybe there's one in a bowl. Here's one in a pot. So we could put this picture in, for example, copy image. In order to get this little menu, you have to click on the right side of your mouse. If you don't, you can't get to that menu without clicking on the right side, not the left side. And then you can do copy image, or you can do save image as, and then bring it into your slide later. So I could come over here and paste the new picture on this one. And it's too big, so I want to make it a little bit smaller and then drag it over to the side. And you can make it wider if you want to. Some of the pictures, like this picture, it doesn't look bad when you make it wider. But some of the pictures, you can tell they're getting stretched out. So you just have to kind of use your judgment. And then you might want to have one more slide. So you could say the things she talked about where it's low in fat because the meat is lean. Lean means low fat. So you have vitamins from the vegetables and paprika. The only thing to watch out for, which a lot of people, I made comments on your planning sheets about sodium. That's the same as salt. And high salt is bad for your health. So if you have a dish that has high salt in it, that's one thing that could be unhealthy. Even if you have a dish that has low fat and high vitamins, it might have high sugar or high salt. So that would be part of your discussion about whether it's healthy or not. So that's the overview. That was a lot of information in about 15 minutes, but I'm recording it all. So if you want to go back and review it again, or if you want to have it open and pause the recording and do each step as I describe it, you can go into the recording from today, skip ahead to the last, I think we've been doing this about 15 minutes. When you get to the last 15 minutes, you can find it. So does anyone have questions?
Yes, how can we download this?
Oh, good question. I didn't even think about that. It'll be the same as a document. So a lot of the things about PowerPoint function the same as Word because they're both Microsoft products. So you want to go over here to File, Save. And if you do save, it might just save it anywhere on your computer. But if you do Save As, it lets you choose where you're saving it. So I usually put stuff in right on my desktop just because that's easiest to find it, because you're going to want to have it easy to find when you present.
Okay.
The other option is I actually have a folder. I have a folder for our class, ESOL 43. So I could save it in here. And then you won't need to upload this. If you want me to look at it or you have some questions, you can either send it to me in an email or send me an email that you put it in your planning folder.
Mhm.
But you don't need to do that. You can just use it for the presentation.
Miss Martha, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you want us to upload it for you or just like make a presentation?
You do not need to upload it for me. You can just put it in your computer so when you present you can find it.
Oh, okay.
So some of you might not have been online yet when I was talking about this, but I can assign a person to share their screen. So if you open it on your own screen, you can share it with the class while you're talking.
Okay, awesome. Awesome.
So the PowerPoint we can download from Century page.
Yes.
Okay.
I put it on D2L already.
Oh,
So yeah, every student at Century gets Microsoft Office Suite, it's called. So it's all those things that were listed on my computer. You can actually download it onto more than one device for the time that you're a student.
okay.
And I put it here. If you don't have PowerPoint, you can upload it. And this is the site. So when you click on this link,
Oh,
it has the download information here. So here are all the steps, what to do. And again, this is something that Peter can help with if you get stuck.
mhm.
So you want to log into your My Century and click on, let me see if I can do that. I don't know if it'll work for me because My Century is the faculty one and not the student one, but I'm going to look at it and see. Wow, my computer's slow today. Well, it's telling my computer connection is unstable, so there's a chance I might drop you a second. Let me see what it says here while this is opening. Oh, here it is for students. Once you've accessed your OneDrive account. I don't think I'm looking at the same thing that you're looking at when you get in, because I have employee stuff. Oh, it's this one. This is your OneDrive Office account. So I think if you go in here, So here's install Office. Do you see it?
Yeah.
So if you click on here, I don't want that one. It'll include all the things that you want to download from here. I wonder if you can just, maybe you can just download PowerPoint by itself. Oh, this is just information about PowerPoint. It's not the download. So again, you can, if you're using your OneDrive when you log in, you can also save your PowerPoints to OneDrive. So I got here by following these steps. So I logged into my Century. I went to the OneDrive account where it says Office 365. And then I clicked on the install button, which is this one, install.
So you put in your ID when you log in?
Yeah, it's my regular ID that I use to get into D2L and everything.
Okay.
Because you have to be because Century paid for the subscription, you have to be a Century student to do it. So that's why they make you log in to get to it. But you can log into it, you can download it on 3 devices. So if you have a tablet or an iPad and you have a computer or a laptop, you can do it on both of them.
Oh, that's cool.
Any other questions?
No, I don't have another question.
Okay, so if you have a writing class this afternoon, it starts in about 35 or 40 minutes. If you have any other questions, you can email me about it.
Actually, I have another question if you can
Yeah,
answer.
sure.
Do you think we can also